Today we're going to be replacing the band gear. These are the band axle gear. This gear is the one that the band rides on. It's composed of an axle, the two plastic sides, and two black bushings. Okay, we're first gonna start off by powering off the vending machine, and we're gonna put the basket here in this section so we can remove the two front screws. Alright, we're going to set this aside. Remove the cardboard panel. Set that aside. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to disconnect this cable for the front sensor emitter. Okay, and we're also going to disconnect the cable for the pallet emitter. Okay, and in the process we're going to have to remove this sensor bar, so we're just going to go ahead and do it right now. Carefully, you don't damage with the screwdriver the sensor bar. You're going to remove the screws. You're going to set those aside. To remove the sensor bar, you will have to just simply press in the center just a little bit so it flares out the sides. Okay, slide it just like about a centimeter or half a centimeter towards the left. Bring it forward and it comes out. Okay, we're gonna set this aside. Now we have the elevator basket. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna remove the elevator basket. There are three tabs: this one, and this one. I'm gonna first start off by this tab. We're gonna pull on it and just shift it out of place towards you. Then we go to the bottom one. We pull on this tab towards us and we shift the basket up like so. And then the last one is this one over here. We push up on the tab. Okay, once it releases, we pull forward towards us the basket. Now the basket is kind of released. It's just held in place from the back. What we're gonna do is we're gonna push back on this panel while at the same time we're pulling on the basket, and that releases the basket from that metal bracket. Once it's completely off like this, we're gonna put it at an angle like so, and we're gonna remove it. Okay, now what we're replacing are these gears, this one or this one right here. We can replace them both at the same time or just one at a time. For that, we need to take apart the basket as well. There is one screw that is all the way down here. I want to make sure we get that we're gonna have to remove. Okay, go ahead and undo that screw. Once we undo that screw, we can shift the basket out of position. Now, on the metal bracket, which is the center bracket that holds the gears and everything together, there are slots and there's tabs on the black plastic section here. We're gonna push up into this tab. Again, this is the front of the basket. This tab is right here. I'm gonna push on that, and we're gonna slide. I just slided this basket this way, just to right, and it just comes off in sections. Put that aside, and then on the other side, we flip it around. There's another tab. We're gonna locate that tab, press on the tab, and we shift it, and it comes out. And again, these are three sections. We're just going to put that aside. Here now we have the center bracket that holds the gears. Okay, it is very important when we put this back together that we make sure we put the gear in the proper orientation with this white gear where it goes as well. If we notice, this bracket is squared. It's cut squared in the back, or on the left hand side it's cut squared, and I say left hand side according to the orientation it goes on in the elevator in the machine. So square here, and it has like a cut ramp on this side towards the right hand side, and this gear goes right here only. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna remove this gear. By removing this screw, and go ahead and access that. Set that aside. I'm gonna pop this gear out. Now notice this gear has it's like this on this side, and the other side is flat. So you make sure when you put it, it goes like the flatter side in, like that. Okay. Now we're ready to remove the axle gears. Okay. If you notice, the one where you put the this gear on is flat. It's kind of squared, okay, and the other one is round and is flush. So it's actually easier to take out this gear from the side that is flush than from this side. So here you have to pry apart the metal. Okay, just pry it apart just a little bit, like that. And we have to pop it out of place. This little black bushing that's here is very important that we remove it, and when we change the gear, we replace it as well, and it has to go in. So once that loses pressure, you're gonna pop it out, and this gear comes off. Okay. Again, the gear assembly is composed of the bushings, the two gears, two sides of the plastic gear, and a metal axle in the middle. Once you assemble your new one, it's just like this. I'll put this one back. Okay, you make sure that these pins align properly. They're not sticking out like that. Align properly. Okay, and we're gonna start off by putting one of these bushings in first. And this is pretty much the same process if you had to replace your band. At this point you just ease off on the band and put your new one in. Always making sure if you already assembled your pallet to have the pallet rotating this way, or the front of the pallet towards the right. And we call the right because of this cutout. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount my band back in. Okay, I'm gonna put it over this gear. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put one bushing first. This bushing is gonna go, and this bushing has a little tiny tab. I don't know if you noticed that. It's a little tiny tab, and on the metal there's a little groove. So I'll put that first. And again, we're actually gonna do this the other way because the long side goes in first, like I mentioned, where this gear goes. So I'm gonna put that in here first. I'm gonna keep tension on this gear. I'm gonna grab our new gear, long side, flat side here. I'm gonna put it in the center here. I'm gonna just put the band right over the gear like so. I already have this halfway mounted. I'm gonna grab the new black bushing. I'm gonna put it in place. Okay, and then simply what I do is I just stretch this over the top, pops it in place. You push the metal back in place, make sure it's pretty straight like so, and you put your this gear back on. And make sure you make it tight but not too tight, okay? That you can grab onto the metal and you can spin this freely like that. You don't want to make it way too tight. And now we can go ahead and reassemble back the basket. Okay, we start off with this corner that has this cutout for the wheel. Put that right over the little pinion gear there. there's a little tab supposed in that groove like this. Okay, so we put it in the open position. We don't want to lock it into place. Open position first. We grab our middle section. I'm gonna put that right over, like so. It just slides into place. With the other one, like that. I'm gonna flip it around, and I'm gonna make sure that all these black tabs fall in the groove, and I'm gonna shift it, and I'm gonna kind of slide it into place until this tab right here clicks in place, like that. Okay, so this whole section is put in place now. We grab our other side of the basket. We're gonna put it here. And again, it's the same concept. We're gonna flip this side. We're gonna look for those tabs. Okay. All the tabs are in. And we're gonna slide it until it clicks. We want to do it sometimes. This catches right here, so you want to make sure it's apart. It's not there, and it clicked into place. Again, double checking that the tabs locked. Okay, we're gonna flip the basket around, and once this is lined up, we can go ahead and put our screw back in there. Let's grab the screw right here, put it up like so. Once we go ahead and tighten that up, we can go ahead and reinsert the basket back into the elevator. Let's walk over to the elevator. We're gonna go ahead and pull this cable out of the way. Insert the basket at a slight angle like so. You can lift this bar too. Okay, once it's in there like that, we can go ahead and lift from the front. Reposition this metal bracket over the plastic basket. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and push this tab in and down. This one in, that one snapped into place, this one snapped into place, and that one pretty much snaps into place. Now we can go ahead and pull back our front sensor bar. Front sensor bar has an LED. Just an LED indicator, goes on the left hand side like so. We're gonna put the bottom edge over these tiny little black tabs inside like that. This one falls over the other ones. So you push in a little bit, it flares out, side switch to right, and these holes are ready to go. Position. We grab a screwdriver, and I'm gonna go ahead and put those in. Slightly tug it in place, not too tight. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and put this connector. This connector only fits in one way, so it's right on here. Connection, and very important, do not forget this cable. That's another little white connector right on here. Okay, now we can put our cardboard back on. Our metal bracket. This metal bracket, you have to put it over this side, over the black plastic lid here. Okay? It doesn't go just like that, it goes over. It hooks onto there. Other than in place. And we're gonna put our 2 screws, making sure we do not over tighten it. Okay, and we're done.